Hey everyone, so this is Matt, and today I'm actually going to do something slightly different in this video. I'm going to be doing a deck profile roast slash review video. So I wasn't planning on getting into this since my boy LOLZA is already doing a series like that. But someone reached out to me, a fellow avid Dark Magician player, and he asked me to take a look at his deck profile, and we chatted, and he even said like, oh, if I want to make a video for it, like I can. So yeah, I think I will. Yeah, I don't think LOLZA has the exclusive monopoly over deck profile roast slash review videos. Anyway, so he sent me a deck list along with this PDF, basically explaining everything. And so before I get into it, I just want to ask, dude, did you make this using LaTeX? Cause this font reminds me of LaTeX. I don't know. I don't often see this font in PDFs unless it's from LaTeX. So yeah, if you did, that's a little overkill, buddy. But that's okay. That's fine. I do appreciate. If you did, definitely appreciate it. All right. Um, and so I loaded his deck profile here into EDO Pro, right? So here it is. It's a 44 card profile, and there's a lot of, and it uses the new Dark Magician support cards that are coming out in February. So yeah, it tries to do a couple of interesting things here. Um, Before I get into it, I just want to quickly go over the notes. So he said in the introduction here, he said, for this deck profile, I assume we'll have access to a single copy of Dragoon and Anaconda. Um, Once Illusion of Chaos releases. Why? So so you're assuming that so this support comes on February. We have one more ban list until then, right? Which is the mid-January ban list. And you think that in that ban list, Dragoon and Anaconda will be limited to one each, right? Um, I don't quite agree with that. So yeah, in the OCG, Anaconda is limited to one and Dragoon is banned, right? But we're not the OCG, we're the TCG. And because of the fact that we got Dragoon so much later than the OCG, Dragoon came in at a time when there was just way more counters to it, right? Triple Tactics Talents, Forbidden Droplet, etc., right? So yeah, like Dragoon, some people say is a problem card. I honestly think Anaconda is a problem card, but I don't know. I think this is a foolhardy assumption to make. Building your deck list around an imaginary ban list or like a ban list that has not been confirmed, and I would even argue is unlikely to happen. Like I don't like Anaconda limited to one maybe. Dragoon limited to one doesn't make any sense. Like if Dragoon is gonna be on a ban list, it's gonna go into the forbidden list. It's just gonna go to zero, right? Um, I know it doesn't really make sense here. And if you think about it from the TCG perspective, people complain about Dragoon, sure, but now that Phoenix Enforcer is out, like a lot more decks are playing it. So I've been hearing fewer complaints about Dragoon. Um, and actually, I would even say like my hope is that Anaconda gets banned, but Dragoon does not, right? That's my personal hope. I don't know. I don't agree with this. I think that you should just build your deck in accordance to the current ban list without speculation, because speculating doesn't I don't feel it's helpful. And then if a ban list drops, which does this change, then you can always adjust accordingly. But yeah, I don't think this is a good assumption to make. I definitely think that you should just assume it's going to be Dragoon and Anaconda are going to be at three, and work with that. I mean, if you're trying to make this deck in real life and um, you don't want to pay for a second copy of Dragoon or Anaconda, like that's like fine, that's understandable, but definitely don't limit yourself arbitrarily like this. Okay. All right. So running more than two red students seems like a bit much. There are multiple ways to get Anaconda under the boss monsters. Don't entirely agree. Like I still think three red eyes. Again, red eyes fusion is your best starter card, right? It's a one card combo. It's the one of the best cards in your deck. You should run three, in my opinion. I don't know. Two just seems like, oh, I couldn't fit a third. I guess. I mean, it's two is much better than one, but I still don't see why you can't run 3. Like, yeah, there are other ways in Anaconda, but like, Dragoon is your main boss monster, right? The other boss monsters are secondary. So you currently run 44 cards. So my opinion over going over 40 cards is you shouldn't do it unless those 4 extra cards you're adding are like draw cards, like Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Prosperity, like cards that will always, always, always draw you more cards, right? That's my opinion. So yeah, maybe we can slim this down to 40. I've already looked at the deck list. I think there's a few things we can cut. It feels like there are enough deck thin cards and searchables. I rarely run into issues drawing my money cards. Okay. However, I currently like to avoid getting past 44. Not that seems counterintuitive, right? Like you say, oh, you have a bunch of searchables, so that's why it's okay going over 40. But can't you use the same logic over 44? I mean, I've seen deck profiles at YCS that have gone to 50 cards and topped, right? Like top 8, 50 card decks. I've seen 41 card decks top, right? Like like 40 is not the magic number. You don't have to go to 40. If you can stay at 40, do so. But I don't know. I don't know why you would want to avoid going past 44 when you've already like are okay going over 40. Okay, play tested 100 times. Okay. So then he gets into explanations. Pierce in the Darkness, Magician's Right Hand, Restage. Yeah, so I'm not going to read this out. I mean, I've already read it myself. Instead, I'm just going to go into the deck list and give my impressions. Okay. So first things first, let's move these cards around in a way that we put all the cards that are definitely core / should be kept to cards that maybe could be cut. All right. So far, this top row, definitely keep everything, right? 2 Dark Magicians is a correct ratio. I would even, this is a small, minor nitpick, but consider, I don't know if you care about this at all, but consider running this artwork of Dark Magician. This one here, instead of this one. It just matches, like, again, this is just an aesthetic preference. You don't have to follow this. These 2 Dark Magician artworks match better. Like if you're gonna keep this one, which in real life this Dark Magician card has the new ultra rare with the hollow levels and attribute, and there's a secret rare version as well. And this one here also has the new ultra rare with the hollow attribute, and whereas this Dark Magician over here does not. Just a minor nitpick. It doesn't matter. But if you like this artwork, I think you should definitely keep this. You should run it with this artwork. Unless, of course, you actually like this artwork, in which case, proceed. Anyway. Alright, so everything up to here is fine. Timaeus, the Dragon of Destiny. I used to think when the support first came out that this was going to be core, one of. But over time, I've thought, it's not as good as I thought. So let's move this down here for now. So you're running Incredible Ecclesia, 3 Incredible Ecclesia with Fallen of Albaz. So this is like an optional package that you included. I'm also going to move that to the end because I don't think that's a must-have core part of the deck, right? Soul Servant is core. Pierce in Darkness, I'm going to move to the end here. 1 Circle is fine. 3 Prep is good. That's the correct ratio. 2 Red Eyes Fusion. That's a bare minimum, probably. I would argue for more. I would run Instant Fusion here to the end. Secrets to the end. Definitely keep Magician's Salivation. Yes, I said Salivation because it has DM Girl in the art, right? Yeah, definitely keep Upstart. Definitely keep Eternal Soul. And then all these traps here are technically optional. So in terms of core cards, of cards that I think you should absolutely run, you have, it goes up, it's everything here up to this Upstart Goblin. So how many is that? So this is 11, 22, 25 cards that are super duper core. Okay. All right. So you have 15 cards remaining to get to 40, or in your case, wait, did I do that math right? This is 4, 8, yeah, this is 11, 22, 25. So to get to 44, we would need 19, or to get to 40, we would need 15. Okay. Let's talk about Timaeus, the Dragon of Destiny. I think that's an easy one to address. So as people have mentioned in the Dark Magician Discord, or maybe LOLZA has mentioned it in one of his videos, but this card is a little too similar to Secrets of Dark Magic. They kind of have a similar card economy. The only difference is Illusion of Chaos can search Timaeus. Illusion of Chaos cannot search secrets, but Rod can search secrets. Rod cannot search Timaeus. Um, Timaeus, yeah, so they're very similar. You still need to spend 3 cards to bring out a fusion monster, right? Um, main big difference here is, and why I think Timaeus is strictly weaker, is because um, Timaeus is a monster, which means it can be negated via Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence, whereas Secrets of Dark Magic cannot, right? So I would actually take that out, like take out Timaeus and keep Secrets of Dark Magic. Plus, Secrets of Dark Magic is a quick play, which means you can use it on your opponent's turn for some interesting shenanigans, right? Um, anyway, okay, so I'm gonna. Oh, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do create a new deck called Dark. So Azura DM suggestions. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna take out Timaeus here. All right. Cool. So Seeker's Dark Magic I think is a good card. And I think it's only gonna get better with new support. All right. Single copy of Eternal Soul. So uh, you're effectively running 2 copies because you're running Salvation, but you're running 1 copy of Circle. I personally think you should run um, 2 copies of Circles because after me personally playtesting your deck, I very rarely see Circle and Souls on the first turn. And these 2 cards are like a secondary interruption after Dragoon. Like, yeah, Circle's not the best card. Like, it's kind of janky. And yeah, you can play it at 1. It's not the end of the world. But I really feel like, having these 2 on your field as a first turn interruption, because Souls is going to be searched from Salvation, is going to be searched off Rod or Soul Servant, right, in the first turn. So you're almost always going to see Eternal Soul on the first turn, assuming you see Rod. But Dark Magical Circle you might not see until the second turn, at which point it might be too late. But sometimes it'd be nice to have that additional interruption, right? So I would put Circle at 1. I would also put Red Eyes Fusion at 3. So let's put this in here for now, right? Okay, so now you're running the Ecclesia, the Virtuous in white pack, or Incredible Ecclesia. You have Pierce in the Darkness. Okay, before I go into further suggestions, let me actually go back to the profile you sent me, and I'm just gonna run a few hands, right? So test hands, just to show my viewers about what are some of the things that this can do. So, all right, so this hand can give Dragoon. I'm not going to go into it because it doesn't use any of your Ecclesia or Magician's Restage stuff, so I'm just going to restart this. Same argument here. Okay, so you run Magician's Right Hand, and in your document you mentioned that you prefer this to Secret Village of the Spellcasters because this card is searchable via Magician's Restage, and it keeps your field spell slot open. The only argument I would say against that, or is that your field spell slot is not that important. Like, if you have, yeah, you use it for Magician's Salvation, and Magician's Salvation searches Eternal Soul. Once that happens, Magician's Salvation's job is pretty much done. I mean, yeah, you can leave it on the field so that every time you use Eternal Soul, when you bring in a Dark Magician, you can also bring in a Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard. But and it's nice to have that extra body. But if your choice is between like ending your turn with Secret Village of Spellcasters, ending your turn with Magician's Salvation as your field spell, it's pretty clear that Secret Village is way better because like blocking all your opponent's spells is much stronger than getting that extra body on the field via Dark Magician Girl. So, and another problem with Magician's Right Hand is this card says negate the effect of your opponent's first spell card or effect that resolves each turn while you control Spellcaster. So it's a continuous spell. Every turn it negates the first spell your opponent plays while you have a Spellcaster. And the only issue I have with that is you don't really have control over it, right? Like, your opponent knows, if your opponent knows you have this on the field, they'll just play around it. Like they'll blow like, you know, like a spell that they don't care about, like maybe a terraforming, maybe like whatever, um, and then they'll just go into the spells they do care about, right? I mean, I've definitely play tested a lot online on EDO Pro, and not with this card in my deck, but like against decks that have this card in it, and I found that most of the time it's very easy to play around. I don't know. I don't think this card is like strictly better than. I would actually argue it's strictly worse than Secret Village of the Spellcasters. The Secret Village of Spellcasters, they can't even activate spells, right? As long as you have a spellcaster. So it's very hard for them to play around it. Whereas I found in my experience, it's very easy for even me as a Dark Magician player who has a lot of spells in their deck. I feel like it's very easy to play around this. Yeah. Let's restart this hand. Okay. Yeah, so you're running Magician's Restage, which it can be comboed with other starter cards, but by itself it doesn't do anything. So let's look at the starting hand, right? Like I would rather this Magician's Restage be any other card. Like I'd rather it be a Rod, or I'd rather it be a Souls, right? Like I don't know. I feel like it's taking up slots in your deck that I don't know. Like it's just a little too bricky by itself, right? Um, So let's see if we can get. I'm just trying to produce a hand here that will show a nice combo. So okay, maybe this one will work. Let's see. So if I instant fusion here, bring out Millennium Eyes, link away Millennium Eyes into Artemis, Magician's Reach Stage, and then use Magician's Reach Stage to bring back Millennium Eyes. Then I can make Anaconda, right? So this is like I think what you mentioned in your document. Like any spellcaster level 3 or below can basically be revived by this once it's in the graveyard, and then you can use it to go into Anaconda. So in that case, that was a useful use of the card. But again, it was only useful because you had another spellcaster. By itself, this card is a super brick, right? So let's restart a few more hands here. Okay, didn't get that card. Okay, I'm just trying to I'm trying to reproduce the scenario. Okay, instant fusion and restage again. We'll make Anaconda. Oh, that was a good hand. Sorry, I should have played that hand out. My mistake. Hold on, give me a second. Wow, it's funny. I was playtesting this early, and I was almost always drawing Magician's Restage. Okay, we have it here, but then we have Fallen of Albaz, which is a level 4 dragon. So yeah, Magician's Restage does not help us here. Okay, here we go. All right, we have Magician's Restage, Summon Limit. All right, so let's do Prep. Prep grabs Illusion. Illusion will grab us Magician's Souls. Pretty sure this is your intention here. Let's put back Magician's Right Hand. Souls will send DM Girl, and rather than summoning itself, it's going to summon DM Girl from the graveyard. Right? I think this is what you mean. You activate Magician's Restage. Magician's Restage can activate to bring back Souls. Souls can then send this for a draw 1. Since this oh, we drew right hand. Okay, well, that was kind of unlucky because this should have been shuffled in after Illusion Chaos, Magician's Souls. But anyway, if this had gone to the graveyard and this was not, I did not draw this, then I would have been able to search it from the deck. So, and then from here, you can go into Anaconda, right, etc. All right. Okay, so Magician's Rod plus Upstart is Dragoon, is Anaconda and Dragoon. Incredible Ecclesia can only be special summoned if your opponent has monsters and you do not. So I can see it being an okay extender going second, but going first. So your deck is mostly built for going first, by the way. Like when you run Solemn cards in your main deck, you're definitely a going first kind of deck. especially with Magician's right hand. Magician's right hand going second is pretty bad. So you're built for as a going second deck, as a going first deck. Yet you have this version of Ecclesia, which is only good for going. I mean, not only good, but like it's good for going second, right? Because you want your opponents set up the board, and then you get a free special summon. Because let's say I didn't have Upstart the Goblin, then I would not be able to make Anaconda here, right? Upstart Goblin is what allows me to make Anaconda with Rod. Um, so another one. All right, so here's one. Uh, so summon Rod, search a thing. Let's do Magician Salivation. Link Rod into Artemis. Play Magician's Restage. Magician's Restage revives Rod, and then you have Anaconda, right? So this is the combo that you told me about in your PDF, right? In this case, because I didn't have souls, then I can't send this to the graveyard to draw and then search right hand. So let's try another hand here. Okay, this hand is a Giga Brick. So yeah, I guess in this hand you can, if you survive for one turn, then you can start to do some stuff. Okay, let's try. Okay, so Ecclesia plus Souls will make you Anaconda. Let's see if we can make more from this hand. Well, I could grab Rod, or I can just get Saravis and then use it to protect Anaconda. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's try another hand. So this Timaeus. Okay, so yeah, so this Timaeus. Get Eternal Soul. Institution gives Millennium Eyes. And then we have two bodies. Okay. But then we can't set one of these two, which is slightly unfortunate. Yeah, so one of the arguments that you made in your PDF about Incredible Ecclesia is that it's a level 4 tuner, and if you synchro her with Dark Magician Girl, you can make Baroness de Fleur, right, which is a level 10 synchro, or you can make Chen Ying, Sword Soul, which are two pretty strong synchros. But again, like I feel like in this case, when you only have these two bodies, you're better off just making Anaconda and Dragoon, right? Oh, Red Eyes Fusion. So that's okay. So in this case, Red Eyes Fusion, Magician's Right Hand. This becomes a Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul. So you'll have basically 3 interruptions on your opponent's turn. So that's decent. Okay, so here's Ecclesia. This one will search Illusion. Illusion will grab souls and put DM Girl back. Yeah, so I feel like in most of these hands, you're not really getting much value out of Ecclesia. So, all right. So in the PDF that you sent me, I'll go over like this test hand, right? All right. So here's your sample hand. Whoops. All right. So in this sample hand that you sent me, you said a sample hand that ends with 2 Omni Negates. So this is a good hand because you basically have 3 or 4 bodies, right? So this is effectively a 4-card combo, right? So what you do is you use Magician's Rod to send Dark Magician Girl. You special summon Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard. You use Magician's Restage to bring back Souls. Souls is then gonna send Restage to the graveyard to draw a card and to search right hand. Yep, see? So you drew a card. Wait. Oh, before that, you, okay, so you normal summoned Ecclesia, right? Ecclesia and DM Girl synchro summon into Baron Lafleur, okay? And then the card draw that you got from sending Magician's Research to the graveyard was Eternal Soul. So you drew Eternal Soul from that. Okay, and you search right hand. Right hand gets activated. Okay, and then what's next? Yeah, so in this case, use Instant Fusion to make Millennium Eyes, right? So you have a third body. Millennium Eyes and Souls will make Anaconda. Anaconda brings out Dragoon, so and then you have your draw 2 from Soul Servant, so you will draw, in this case, you top deck Rod and Dark Magician. Okay, so with 5 cards, right? So you needed these 5 to pull that off, right? If you didn't have Instant Fusion, you would not be able to get that third body, right, to go into Anaconda. If you did not have Soul Servant, you would not have been able to end your turn with 2 cards in your hand that Dragoon can use to negate, right? Um, so I feel like this is kind of a good hand, but like it's not common that everything will work out this nicely, right? Um, yeah, so you end with a Dragoon negate, you end with a spell negate from Midge's right hand, and you end with Baron de Fleur, which is also a negate. And then on your turn, it will be a pop, right? And then on the following turn, you have Rod to follow up. Rod and Eternal Soul, you kind of lucked out and drew by accident, but like maybe this could have been a Solemn Strike. I don't know. All right, so that's a combo that you sent me. But the problem I'm having is I'm not really able to reproduce a combo that's powerful. Like most of the time, this Ecclesia is just a second body for a Dragoon. Like I'm not really going into it's for Anaconda and then Dragoon. I'm not really going into Baron LaFleur or any of these synchros, right? So Upstart and Soul Servant will grab me Magician's Souls, and then Magician's Soul and this girl will give me Anaconda, right? All right, let's try again. Okay, this hand looks a little bit more promising. Let's see if we can make it work. I think grabbing Souls here is the play. Let's put back Illusion of Chaos. So in this case, so Timaeus basically needs, if you want to use Timaeus' fusion, you basically need Dark Magician, right? But if you want to make Baron LaFleur, you need Dark Magician Girl. So uh, yeah, let's go the Dark Magician Girl route because I think that'll be better. So Dark Magician Girl. Alright, and then normal summon this girl, right? Let's synchro here into Baron LaFleur. Alright, so we have our first negate. Cool. Let's use this one to grab Eternal Soul. And then Timaeus will send this to summon itself. Oh. So I have 2 bodies for Anaconda and Dragoon, but I don't have... But then I kind of wasted Baron LaFleur. And if I do go Anaconda Dragoon here, I won't be able to set Solemn Strike unless I don't want a Dragoon negate. So, not sure about that. Okay, so that hand was... Maybe I misplayed that hand. You can tell me in the comments or message me, but I feel like... Okay, that was not so good. Alright, here's an opening hand with 2 Magicians Restage. This card does nothing by itself. So, yeah, not so good. Alright, here we go. Alright, so here let's hypothesize something. So let's say I grab Illusion of Chaos here, and I get... Let's grab Magician's Rod. Who doesn't like Magician's Rod? So let's send DM Girl. Okay. Let's activate Magician's Restage here. Let's normal summon Magician's Rod. Let's get Soul Servants. So Soul Servant, let's stack. This. This will grab Magician's Right Hand. Okay, now we can go into Anaconda. Then we're gonna set Soul. Draw 2. Okay, and then we set, activate this, activate this, and let's set this. Alright, so we're ending our board. So this is a good end board, with the, I wouldn't say an exception, but like, alright, so Pierce in Darkness, Magician's Right Hand are solid. Darkness, right hand obviously makes you, negate the first spell. We have Judgment here for an interruption. Piercing will obviously let you draw a card once you summon Dragoon, and also makes Dark Magician also makes your Dragoon basically indestructible in battle. Like even Access Code can't deal with it. Although Access Code can just pop this card, right? So uh, maybe it doesn't do much for that. The only thing I'd say is like, yeah, this is an okay ending board, but like I would rather have Secret Village Spellcaster over this, right? Pierce in Darkness, it's okay. I'd rather have like another Solemn card or like a Skill Drain, right? I noticed you did not have Skill Drain in your deck profile. And then DM Girl by itself is just like an extra body that doesn't do anything, right? Like if there was another Link play I could make, I probably would have, but I don't know. I just feel like I just have this extra body sitting here that's not really doing much for me other than just being a 2300 attack body. Like, so yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, so nothing's Dragoon. Okay. Yeah, so this one, similar arguments. Let's grab Saravis here. Let's put Red Eyes. Let's put this big old brick back in the deck. Okay. Just for the lols, I'm just gonna send this prep because I don't think I need it right now. Oh, look at that! Got me a rod. That's what I wanted to see. Soul Servants. Obviously, Saravis would protect Anaconda. Okay. I guess we'll grab. Yep. All right, and then we have our end board. So our end board consists of two interruptions, Dragoon negate, and this negate, which is a negate we can't control, right? It's a negate that our opponent can choose to trigger however they please. So I don't know. So far I have yet to produce a board that's better than the ones I've been producing with my current deck without this. Um. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, I feel like Magician's Restage without one of your other starting spellcasters doesn't really do it. And in fact, like even Ecclesia is a level 4 spellcaster, you can't revive it with Magician's Restage. So you have to revive either Rod Souls or Millennium Eyes, right? Meanwhile, like Red Eyes Fusion is a one-card combo, right? And yet you're only running two of them. Um, I don't know. I feel like Magician's Restage is a bigger brick than Red Eyes Fusion, and it's a 2 dependent on other cards, whereas Red Eyes Fusion is standalone. Like, um, yeah. So in this case, like this hand would be unplayable if not for Red Eyes Fusion, right? Uh, yeah. Magician's Restage can't revive anything. Tamias would have to basically send Circle to summon. Yeah. So this is again, Red Eyes Fusion is the money card here, right? Yeah, you're playing 2 of them. So, um, okay, let's try this. All right, Ecclesia by itself, going first, doesn't do much. Illusion of Chaos can grab souls, and then souls and Ecclesia can make Anaconda, or I can just play Red Eyes Fusion, right? I don't really need to go that route here. So Rod and Ecclesia, they're both normal summons, right? If this was Dogmatic Ecclesia, you could special summon it, right? But if you're going first, you can only normal summon. Um, so yeah, in this case, just Red Eyes Fusion, right? So here, Rod can summon, link to Artemis, Magician's Restage revives Rod, make Anaconda Dragoon, or you can just play Red Eyes Fusion, right? So it just feels like. Alright, so let's send. Alright, so here's a card. So DM Girl. So I'm not. I like that interaction of Magician's Souls with Magician's Restage. It's a very interesting interaction. Not gonna lie. So let's grab. Let's be greedy and grab Rod, even though we probably should grab Saravis. I like Rod. I sent back Eternal Soul because I'm gonna search the field spell. Oh, that was really dumb. Sorry, I should not have put. I should have searched Soul Servant and then Dark Magical Circle. Yeah, that was dumb. Ignore that. Pretend I didn't do that. But yeah, okay. So basically similar end board as before. Dragoon, Dark Magician Girl, Solemn Judgment, and then Right Hand, right? And if I didn't send that Eternal Soul, I would. If I sent Illusion instead or Magician Souls, I would have Circle and Souls. All right. So again, I'm still not getting to the synchros, right? Like the whole point of running that Ecclesia is that she can synchro with DM Girl, but I just don't really see it happening. All right, let's try something else. Let's do. Like this is a cute. Like again. This is a cute interaction. I just feel like this card by itself, or even this card with Rod, is great. Well, by itself, it's a break. With Rod, it's um, yeah, it can get you Dragoon, but like there's other things combined with Rod that can get you Dragoon as well. So um, all right. And remember, Magician's Right Hand going second won't really help you do anything. Like these are plays just for going first. All right, so far this is probably the strongest end board I've had so far. We have a total of one, two, three, four, five interruptions here, right? So, but still no synchro. Yeah, this is just a standard hand. Okay, I think we've seen enough. So Yeah, your test hand here like looks appears to make a menacing board, but I feel like the only thing this restage is doing is adding is either worst case it's a brick that does nothing. Best case it gets you a single spell negate, and that must be used on the first spell your opponent plays. Um, like yes, like I am ending my board with one additional monster on the field, like DM Girl plus Dragoon. But again, what's DM Girl really gonna do for me, right? Especially when it's gonna be revived by Magician's Salvation anyway. So yeah, okay, let's go back to the suggestions. I'm not convinced about this Magician's Restage. If you really, really want to run this package, I would drop this down to 1, right? Like it's a cute little interaction, but like again, Magician's Restage plus Magician's Right Hand can just be terraforming and Secret Village of the Spellcasters, right? Like let's say I take these out and I put in terraforming and Secret Village, right? So terraforming is a independent card, does not require other cards to be good. It can search you this field spell, which searches you Eternal Soul. So you effectively have 3 copies of Eternal Soul. And Secret Village stops all spells from activating. Um, so your opponent, like while you have a spellcaster, rather than Magician's Right Hand just does one, right? Okay, so this Ecclesia here. I just feel like it's worse than Dogmatica Ecclesia, right? Because, like, yeah, going second, it's a free special summon, which might help you get into, you know, Anaconda. But you've built your main deck for going first, right? You have your main deck summon limit, your main deck's a bunch of traps. Your main deck is built for going first, right? So let's say you're in a match, you're best of 3, you win the die roll, you choose to go first. Ecclesia is just a normal summon at this point, right? Um, and it basically like for you to go into the synchro play, you need like 2 other special summons to also have Dragoon. Actually, no, that's not true. You need 3 other special summons. Yeah. So in your example here, your starting hand had a total of 1 normal summon, 2, 3, 4 special summons. Sorry, 3 special summons and a normal summon is how you were able to get to this end board here, right? But most of the time, you don't have that luxury of having that many summons in your opening hand, right? So this is just a normal summon going first. So if you open Ecclesia and Rod, you cannot make Anaconda and Dragoon. If you open Ecclesia and Magician's Restage, you cannot make Anaconda and Dragoon. The only way you can make Anaconda and Dragoon is if you open Souls, and you're gonna say, oh, there's 9 copies of Souls because you have Illusion of Chaos and Prep, which is true. And in fact, if you've seen some of the test hands I ran, like yeah, there were plenty of hands where I had Souls and Ecclesia, but I feel like this Ecclesia didn't do anything other than just be a body on the field, right? Um, okay, so then going second, so this Ecclesia has 2 main appeals going second. One being you get a free special summon, and the second being if you summon her, you contribute her to grab Fallen of Albaz. And for those of you who don't know, Fallen of Albaz is effectively super polymerization, except that it can be negated, right? So Fallen of Albaz confuse monsters on either field, and um, yes, but it can be negated, right? Like it can be negated by Feck Veiler, Imperm, LOLZA, anything can negate it. Like it's a super vulnerable super poly. And as you saw in like my test hands, like opening this card does nothing. Like this is just a body for Dragoon and Anaconda Dragoon. Like yeah, if you open this with Soul Servant, with Magician Soul similar to the Ecclesia, like yeah, you can get Anaconda Dragoon, right? But other than that, like these are strictly good going second, right? Whereas if you think about the Dogmatica package, Ecclesia is good going first or second, like Dogmatica Ecclesia, and Fleur de Lis is good going first or second, right? Like that's part of the appeal. And Ecclesia searches you a trap that can give you 2 pops or searches you Fleur de Lis, right? Whereas I feel like this package here is mainly good for going second, right? So let's if you lose the die roll, like yeah, I guess you can you'll be going second, and then these become a little better. But again, Fallen of Albaz is a super poly that isn't a super poly because it can be negated, so it's not that threatening. I feel like, And Fallen of Albaz requires you to be able to fuse it with your opponent's monster. So like your fusion targets are Albion the Branded Dragon, which is Fallen of Albaz plus a light monster, or Titanic Cloud, which is Fallen of Albaz with plus a boss monster, essentially. So those are your two fusion targets. I'm not entirely sure what Starving Venom fusion. Oh, I guess it's yeah. Albaz plus a dark monster can make this Starving Venom. Okay, makes sense. Um, yeah. So yeah. So these synchros just felt like it didn't come up in those test hands. Like they're very good strong monsters. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like most of the time you're not gonna have them. Like I would honestly would rather just have another Verde Anaconda and another Dragoon, right? So let's see some other extra decks. So the Dark Charmer is a really good card. It's not out yet. It's in the OCG. I would definitely see this being like a core or a good part of the deck in the future, right? I would keep this card. This is a very good card. Lightning Mines Strict is nice because it's an additional body, and it also can act as a Call by the Grave. But speaking of Call by the Grave, dude, where's your Call by the Grave? I feel like this card is just absolutely mandatory, especially if you're gonna run Red Eyes Fusion. Like I don't know, I would take these cards out, like the um yeah, and then bam, now you're down to 40, and you have like I'll even give you okay, you like Pierce and Darkness, keep it. I would like this is a one of. It's not it's a brick by itself, but it if you see it with other cards, it's like fine. And worst case, you can send it to the graveyard to through Magician's Souls to draw more cards, right? Um, so I think this is fine, but yeah, I would definitely got to have Call by the Grave. Like Instant is good. It's a pseudo Call by the Grave, but Call by the Grave is a literal Call by the Grave, right? Like I don't know why you wouldn't want to run this. Yeah, so let's sort this here. So I think this is a better 40 card. Like, well, fine, you like Pierce and Darkness, keep it. I'm okay with that. I personally wouldn't because, so my issue with piercing is not only it's a one like it's a brick by itself, but you want to see it with your other cards, but you don't want to see have more than one in your deck because it's so bricky. But it's a one of that's not searchable, right? Like most of your one ofs are searchable. Secret Village is searchable via terraforming. Um, Eternal Soul is searchable via Salvation. Salvation is searchable with terraforming. Like you have a lot of searchables here. The only search and secrets of searchable by Rod, right, or Soul Servant. But Pierce and Darkness is not searchable at all, right? So yeah, you want to keep this, go for it. Let's go to your extra deck. So we have two more open slots here. I definitely think you should put in Link Spider. Now that we have the room, Link Spider and Imduck together in one turn can make Anaconda and Dragoon. Oh, but you don't run Magicalized. I just realized that you don't have Magicalized Fusion. Yeah, if you so in your original deck profile when you had one Dragoon, yeah, there's no point in running Magicalized because you're probably not going to use it to bring Dragoon anyway. But if you do run two Dragoons, you should definitely have Magicalized. Um, but if you put in Magicalized, you got to take something out. And honestly, the first cut I see is Piercing the Darkness, right? Um, it's like yeah, like you don't want to see this in your opening hand, but as you may know, Magicalized plus Souls is Dragoon, right? Because you can make Imduck and then Magicalize into Dragoon. So I think this deck profile is a lot better than the one you had. And then let's go back to your extra deck. So honestly, whatever you add here, so you don't need Starving Venom Fusion anymore because you're no longer running Albaz in the suggested list, right? So maybe you can, since you're running Secrets of Dark Magic, you can put this guy in, and you can put this guy in. These are placeholders, like you don't have to run them. You could run Link Karibo instead. Yeah, this is fine. All right, let's go to your side deck. 3 Nibiru is good. 3 Dark Ruler is good. So your back row clear. These 3 are good. I would obviously take out Magician's Left Hand because you're no longer running that. 2 Gozen is good. Token Collector is a good card in the new meta, but you should definitely run 3 of them, right? It's just one of those cards where you want to see, right? So this is fine. And then, yeah, those are the changes I'd make. Obviously, me might say, oh, that's bias. Like I'm changing this deck profile to look more like my own. And but again, I tried playtesting this, and I never felt like I was able to get these synchros on the board in my opening board consistently, right? I think like the sample hand that you sent me is an outlier hand. Like this is not a hand that you're gonna see often, right? Like how often does a Dark Magician deck actually have like 4 summons like this, right? It just doesn't really happen. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on it. I like the creativity though. I do like the idea of Magician's Restage and interacting with Magician Souls. And if you really want to, like, keep a single copy of it, right? Because like I said, it's bricky on its own, but if you do see it with any of the other cards, it's pretty good. It's pretty nice. And then obviously if you keep one, yeah, I'm not convinced about Fallen of Albaz. Like if you want Super Poly, just run Super Poly, right? Super Poly can be uh, activated from the deck by Anaconda. Like it's a good card. And yeah, so anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope it's been helpful. But I mean, if you can, I don't know, maybe send some replays where this like against like human players where either this Ecclesia comes in clutch or this Fallen of Albaz comes in clutch, or I don't know, like what you should try doing is you should make a spreadsheet, honestly. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all guys a little um, hint slash insight into something that I like to do. I do have a spreadsheet where I keep track of. I basically run hand simulations, right? Similar to how I ran hand simulations here. Keep a spreadsheet and like play 100 test hands and literally record how many times you open Dragoon, how many times you open Circle plus Soul, Eternal Soul, how many times you open your Synchro Monster, right? Like just keep a count, right? Run, just play through some hands. EDO Pro is very useful because you can quickly play through hands. Um, yeah, let me show you what my spreadsheet looks like. Yeah, so here's what a spreadsheet might look like, right? Okay, this is a little maybe you can argue this is a little autistic of me, but I mean we play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like there, yeah, like in this case I ran 100 hand simulations. I just recorded down what I saw, right? Like how many bricks did I draw? Was my hand a total brick? How many circle plus souls did I draw, right? Did I open Dragoon? Like how many side deck cards did I see? Like so, and then I just record it, right? And then I have like I can start doing stats, right? So like in this case, I said, oh, in my 100 simulations, I opened Dragoon 83 out of 100 games, out of 100 hands, right? I saw an average of 1.32 side deck cards in my opening hands, right? I drew an average of 0.27 bricks, so about 1 brick every 4 hands. Um, of the 100 hands that I played, 4 were total bricks, like completely unplayable. I saw Eternal Soul 74 out of 100 times. I saw Circle plus Soul 38 out of 100 times. So yeah, like keep a track of like obviously this is a little overkill, and I'm not saying everyone should do this. This is just like what I like to do. But yeah, if you can do something like that that shows like oh I open Baron de Fleur like 50 out of 100 hands, right? Then maybe you can make that argument like okay like the synchro package with Baron LaFleur and Ecclesia is worth it, right? Um, But yeah, like I don't know, just from quickly running some test hands, I never feel like I open anything more than like Dragoon and maybe a Magician's Right Hand, right? Which Magician's Right Hand is like a little too easy to play around. Uh, oh, oh, look at this starting hand for example. How do I make Dragoon here? Magician's Restaged gives me nothing. I can use Timaeus to like summon itself, and that's it. Like this doesn't get me what I want. Um, okay, so Magician's Restage here. All right, so here my ending board is Summon Limit, Strike, and then Magician's Right Hand. Um, so yeah, I guess the difference between like this deck and like a normal Dark Magician deck, I can see a regular Dark Magician deck ending on this board minus the Magician's Right Hand, which okay, we get a one spell negate, but I mean again they can play around it, and at what cost, right? You're running potentially 3 bricks because this card restage by itself doesn't do much, right? I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Like, but seriously, if run a bunch of hand simulations, write down your results on Excel or some spreadsheet or somewhere, and then like see it does. How often does this come up, right? But also record how often do you brick, right? And can't make Dragoon, Anaconda, and other stuff, right? Like record both of those things and try to like see, okay, over 100 hands or whatever, like obviously a large number can be 300, like the larger the better, but obviously, you don't want to spend too much time. See if you can make that argument that okay, this deck profile is definitely better than this other one based on these numbers, right? Um, but yeah, just at first glance and like trying out these hands, I'm not fully convinced. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, this hand looks really good, and you end on Baron and Baroness and Dragoon, but not much else. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like this is like worse than. Well, you could have a solemn, like an extra solemn strike or solemn judgment here, right? I don't know. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Yeah, I do appreciate the creativity though. Definitely this the Dark Charmer is amazing card. Definitely enjoy the synergy here between these two. It's like, oh, if some of you think, oh, why did he go with this Changing? Well, if you read, it says, uh, this card will be destroyed by card effect. You can banish a card from the graveyard. Instead, if a card is banished during the damage step, banish one card from both your opponent's field and graveyard. So if you banish Soul Servant to draw one or draw two, this effect triggers. You get to banish two of your opponent's cards. Or if on your opponent's turn or whatever, or on your turn you use Dark Magical Circle to banish a card, you can then trigger this to banish two more cards. So I like that synergy, and I appreciate the thought. Like, if there was a way to more easily get this out, or either of these two out, then I would definitely think go for it. Yeah, like this is a really good card. I'm just not convinced that this is the way to go. Like with this Ecclesia, like maybe if going second, like you get your free special summon, like maybe you'll see it more often. But going first, like I did try to make it a few times. I just felt like I just couldn't because I didn't have the bodies to also go into Anaconda Dragoon. So anyway, yeah, hopefully, yeah, definitely a good learning experience, and I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on this this Charmer Link monster, as well as these two Synchros as potentials for the future. All right, take care. See ya.